Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we start this review, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our updates. We will be reviewing Couples Cam tomorrow night, so check out that video.
All right. And on to today.
Today, episode 3.
Yeah.
So let's start here. We finished off last week with Bennett and Amelia at the altar. And as she's walking down the aisle, she's like, I know her. And she's like, I know him.
Yes.
And we get to find out where they know each other from. So there's been a lot of speculation, and we've been guessing and trying to figure it out. But it comes out that they have a mutual friend that we find out her name is Mary. And they met each other at a party. We realized Bennett believed that Amelia came to one of his concerts that he had with his band. And Amelia said when they met each other, she kind of liked him a little bit.
Yes. We don't find out about the show until they get to sit down and talk.
Get situated. Yeah.
But, yeah, so they know each other. And to me, Amelia was, like, super excited. She's grinning all over herself. And, like, Bennett's smiling, but I'm like, I can't tell. Is he excited? I don't know. Does he like the fact that he knows her? Can't tell right then.
You couldn't tell right then, but you could tell that it wasn't like, ugh.
Well, no, I'm not saying it was like, but I mean, he seems pretty mannerable, so he wouldn't be like, Yeah, and he was like, I know her. I got to revamp my vows, and so he had to change his vows just a little bit.
I mean, yeah, so he knew, and we come to find out that she was like, you know what? They had great conversation, and she thought it was a good looker, and she just said I never saw him again.
Yeah, but she wanted to see him again.
But she wanted to get again, and
and we find out that he wanted to see her again.
But he had a girlfriend.
Yes, at the time they met each other, he was in a relationship.
Yeah, he was in a relationship.
And so, but he said he looked at her like, she could be somebody that I could, get with or whatever. And he shares his vows. Like I said, he kind of changed it, and she did hers, which was a poem, and it was in typical. I mean, we've already categorized them. It was in typical Amelia and Bennett fashion. She had a goofy poem for her vows, and then they shared a sweet little kiss. I knew they were gonna kiss, because she was just grinning all over herself.
She was real giddy. She was happy, and Bennett was happy, like. He didn't know what to do with himself. Yeah,
he said she was gorgeous, and he liked the way she was adorned.
Yeah.
With the bird in her hair and everything. And
he used some big words in his vows that I had to go look up.
Yeah.
I had to explain to my son what they were. Oh
my gosh. And so anyway, so they talked about the fact that they met at Mary's party, and she said that she was charmed by him, and he taught her about credit cards when they met.
Which I never understood that. At this point, you should already know about credit cards. What did he teach you?
I don't know what he said.
Not to get them at all, because you don't need credit. Did he teach her that,
I feel like
interest?
I feel like he could have told her credit cards are made of plastic, and she would have been like,
oh, she's just so happy. She's just so happy with Bennett. It's like he's her knight and Prince Charming.
Yeah, so they really liked each other. And Bennett said, we finally got the fullness. Yeah. Bennett said he thinks the experts did a phenomenal job.
Phenomenal job.
And
phenomenal job.
He likes the fact that they had a little attraction before, so that just helped them.
Look, I'm gonna say it now. If these two argue, or these two have a problem, they're gonna have a problem. But if these two don't stay married at the end of this, I'll be surprised.
I'll be surprised.
They're real quirky, and I think quirkiness works. We saw Jessica and Austin.
Yeah, this is I think I said it before. This is like level 10.
Level 10 quirkiness.
Maybe 100.
Yeah.
So it was cute for them. They talked, after the wedding, had a nice little conversation, and then they would take the wedding photos. It was so cute because she was just looking at him like, I like his face.
Oh,
I like his face.
And he kept touching her.
He did. And he looked like he was kind of whispering in her ear, or else he was just, he was just nuzzling.
A little
Not now. We're doing a review. So anyway, he's like kind of nuzzling her or whatever. y'all, please, listen. We're trying to do a review, okay? Stay focused.
I'm focused.
Stay focused. But they took nice little pictures, and he said it was crazy, but it felt natural.
Felt natural.
And so then, you know, we go from, we're going to put them all together just for record.
Yeah.
So at the reception, you know, they mix and mingle with each other.
And they talked to each other. They had a good conversation. You know, he still kept whispering to her at the reception. Even they was on the dance floor, they started talking like, when were you born? 91. When were you born? 92. You know, they still having that conversation and still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
And that's what I can say. They did better than most couples. That they were really having a conversation that we saw talking and getting to know each other more than the other 4 couples. I think Bennett and Amelia did a great job getting to know each other at the reception. Their friends, you know, they circle kind of all run together. Yeah,
and from both sides, they were like, okay, I think this is going to be really good for him, really good for her. I see why they're matched up. And even Bennett's mom, she said, I hope she's a weirdo like us. Cause she had a funny little quirky toast speech or whatever.
Soliloquy.
Yeah. And so, you know, you can obviously tell that where Bennett gets it from. But they're going to mesh really well.
I want to give one thing on the reception. I've never been to a wedding when they had an egg on a stick and you had to catch it with your mouth.
Oh, and it was raw. I just knew it was a boiled egg. But
her family,
it was not.
Her family traditions are even weird. She's just not the weird one. It came down the line.
The whole lot of them, and even to the point where her friends with the veils on, with the curtains, they just sat and talked to Bennett and was like, so what are your hygiene habits like? He was like, well, I shower once a day. And you know, my nether parts, you know, I start there first because my nether parts get kind of sweaty first and funky. So, you know, I take care of that. And so her friend is like, well, did you notice that hair under her armpit? He was like, you know what? I didn't even notice. And she was like, that's good. I think y'all are going to work out. He was like, I think it exudes a level of independence. You know, it's like, I like it.
That was funny. Also, was funny when him and his friends were talking about the refrigerator and
the ice cream in the freezer. Yes,
in the freezer, and if they was gonna put nuts on it.
Well, yeah, they had maraschino cherries and what you're going to put on the ice cream. And if the freezer, he says if the freezer opens up, you know, I'll be more than happy to put the ice cream in it. I will go in the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured that. We said if anybody would cap the night off like that,
consummate their marriage.
We think. I mean, yes, that's the nice one, but we talking about them.
Okay.
So we think if anybody would get it in, Amelia and Bennett, we feel like they're gonna get it in. I mean, just because it's been a minute for Bennett. They have obvious attraction. They met each other before. They were attracted before. I think they're gonna get it in.
Yeah, but you know, as they get in their room and Bennett gets acclimated and you know, they get in the bed. She has her flannel pajamas on.
Yes.
Shout out to Deanna and her flannel pajamas.
Yes, and he's got his V-neck that looks like a U-neck.
Look like a U-neck. I ain't gonna lie. What I said he looked like he got his Jesus dress on. I'm sorry. It's just the first thing that came in my mind.
I was like, what does he have on?
His robe or whatever case he wear. His long shirt. Look like he went to bed in his long shirt. But anyway,
nonetheless. With his sandals.
Nonetheless. This couple, I think, after the wedding, after the reception, I think they match very well.
Yes.
I think they match very well. So let's move on to the next couple.
All right, who do we want to go to?
Christina and Henry. Oh, is his name Luke?
it's Henry. But you see how uneventful it was? I was like, who's next? Oh, yeah, they did get married.
She had an attitude. It seemed like she didn't know it's her wedding. She's like, her nervousness made her kind of quirky. Her mom's trying to fix her vest, her dress. And then you got productions telling her, let's do one more interview. She didn't want to do one more interview.
Yeah.
You got Henry, who's feeling kind of, you know, awkward and quirky himself.
Yeah, nervous and anxious. They're both.
So it's just, and then, you know, what we pointed out, what we saw when they got married, she was standing like this far apart.
Oh, man, she was like a mile away. I'm like, why is she being so standoffish?
But it seemed like she was involved. So, I mean, in the wedding. So it's like, Maybe that's just her. Maybe that's her nervousness and the way she is. But she seems, and I don't know, and we got to continue to watch. She seems a little snobby. And I don't think, right now, I don't think it's going to work out with them. She couldn't even remember his name. She said,
that was terrible.
She kept asking production, what's his name? Luke, something. This guy you just married, y'all had a conversation, they take you away to do production stuff, and you can't even remember his name.
Because I feel like in the wedding, like, she wasn't even present. I think that's the proof. Like, she missed his name altogether. When she came down the aisle, one thing I will comment, when he came in, her grandma was like, she was excited to see him, and the guy behind her said that he was hot. And
I'm not to take that.
He was so precious. Because that's what he said. Yeah. So Christina, I feel like, was a ball of nerves, but she was caught up more in the wedding. And that's how hers came out, like anxious, kind of like
but even when
mad, kind of anxious.
But even when they got to the rooftop and they started talking, like they really wasn't talking about anything.
No, yeah, it was like, really dry. The wedding to me was dry.
But really, when you find out, go back and look. When she told him that she was a flight attendant, it's like he was like, oh. No, I'm not trying. Look, I picked things up. Go back and when you watch it, and when he told her that, when she told him that she was a flight attendant and she gone 2 or 3 days out of the week, it seemed like his face dropped, and he can handle it. Like, that's not what I signed up for. I want somebody to be present, or whatever case may be. We'll find out maybe later on what the issue is, but his face dropped. And it's like he was like totally not interested anymore because of what she said.
Yeah, but I got the impression, not got the impression. His dad pretty much said so, that he's a dress type of person. His dad's a funny guy, and he was like, he's so pretty and so neat, and I'm not as well kept, and I said he can't be my kid. So I think Henry's particular, and he probably was like, all through his head was probably like, oh man, how's this going to work out? I don't know. Right. She probably comes and goes. She's going to just throw her clothes in and be out and about her business. So I think he was kind of overwhelmed by that.
And he is reserved, and she asked him where, he asked her where did she live at. She was like downtown. And so it gives them that little sense of that you can see why they together, because they both kind of quiet and awkward, but also they to live kind of different lives.
And I want to add this. One of her things before was that she said a guy has never given her flowers. Mm-hmm. So as she's getting ready, he has flowers that he sent over. Almost as if he knew. But I think he's just that sweet and gentlemanly. But I think that kind of calmed her a little bit, but then she was still back on.
Yeah, I think she got to accept the fact that who he is, and I think they should be able to learn and grow together in a relationship. I think she has going to have to understand him and her as well. I think they are attracted to each other. That's the good thing. The attraction is there. Now has become the talking and communication. Even when they got into their room for the honeymoon suite, it's like they wasn't talking. He did get up and be like, you want me to help you with your dress, which was a good thing for him instead of letting her try to do it by herself. But it's taking him a slow time along. I know it's the first couple of hours, but he has to get the conversation wasn't there for me. Because if you're strangers and you meet for the person for the first time, there should become some type of conversation where it's like, what's your name, where you live at, your address, we ain't seen nobody exchange phone numbers, you didn't, what do you like, where you work at, that type of stuff should go on. And we didn't, and maybe it's editing, and we didn't see that much with Henry and Christina. Well,
I think from when they took the wedding pictures, you kind of saw the dynamic that's going to have to happen. Because they were taking pictures and they're strangers, but she kind of took the initiative and went in, for the closeness and for the kiss. So she's going to have to take the initiative. I think she can't be the person that's going to wait for him, because he's not going to do it. Yeah. She's going to have to, push forward, not be overbearing, but she's going to have to help him stretch out some.
Well, speaking of overbearing, while we're there, his friends are overbearing. His female friends.
Oh my gosh, they were terrible.
They're in the way.
They were terrible. And the little drunk one, he's gorgeous. I love him a lot.
Yeah, she was a straight lush.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's overbearing because he has number of female friends. We saw them at we saw them at the bachelor party. Like, why are you bringing your female friends to the bachelor party? we see them at the wedding all over him and having conversation with him and kind of ignoring her. Not too many women are going to put up that with for so long. I'm not saying he got to cut him off. I'm not saying he got to get rid of him. I'm just saying that while you and your wife are getting together for these 8 weeks, your time with your friends, your female friends, should be much less.
Yeah.
And and the girls, I went out with him once. That's awkward up by itself.
Oh yeah, and basically it's like all of his female friends are like, they like him, but they don't like him like that. And then the one friend that was like, to me, he's not really married. I'm gonna consider him not married. But I'm gonna respect the marriage, but not the relationship. Like, girl, bye.
If you liked him, you go with him. If you like him, you be with him. But at this point, he's married, so let him be. I just see that down the road, that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
But you know, they got to the honeymoon, they got to the room, and a little bit of conversation, and.
But I think even from the reception, I wanted to say this too. From the reception, it was like they were trying to have a conversation. She asked him about, where are your friends? Where's your family in the room? And so he's explaining about the female friends, and she says, "Oh, I forgot my earrings." So it's like, no wonder she don't know his name.
It's all about her.
She's not really. She didn't seem interested at all in what he had to say. Like,
it's all about her. She's cutting him off. She's cutting off. She's the only child. Remember, she's the only child.
Yeah, she did say that.
She's the only child. Yeah. Only child syndrome will rear its ugly head.
That and the fact that, like her grandma said, there's not a lot of male influence. She acknowledged that my idea of marriage, I pretty much get it from TV and movies. Because the grandma said too, she hasn't seen a lot of successful marriages around either. So
we see how that worked out in the previous seasons of Married at First Sight. When there's no successful marriages, most likely your marriage is not successful.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Move on to
our other marriages that have taken place, but now we're getting to see the receptions. So Karen and Miles.
No, Brett and Olivia.
Okay, Brett and Olivia.
Now we go to Brett and Olivia, and they're having a good time. They're having a conversation, and she's really attracted to Brett.
Yes.
She really likes Brett. They talk about the cat thing again. They talk about working out. She asked, "Hey, what's your favorite fast food? What do you like to eat?" And I don't really eat fast food, but like when you do eat fast food, where do you go? She like, "You like Taco Bell?" She was like,
"Yes, Taco Bell is my favorite." She enjoyed. She was like, "Yes."
Like they got this right too.
Check that box.
Taco Bell was his favorite, so you can see the dynamic there. Brett is kind of laid back still cracking jokes, but not as much as we saw in the bachelor party. His friends are giving her some good advice about his brothers. His brothers, sorry, which is still his friends. His brothers are giving her some good advice about how to handle him and how to deal with him and what he's like. And
they have to pull the feelings out of him.
Yeah, got to pull the feelings out of it, and that's to me. Maybe an issue because he's not the emotional Philly type guy that's gonna talk, and you're gonna have to pull, and that maybe an issue. I'm not. Some women don't like to work that much, and that issue where they have to pull the feeling. What are you thinking? What are you talking about? You sit there like Michael from last season and be like. I mean, just you gotta be able to open up and share, and I think that may be a little issue in the relationship as they move further.
Yeah, because his brother said basically his choice of approaching a conversation is going to be sarcasm 9 times out of 10. So we're always cracking on each other. So basically it's like, you might have to get used to it. And we saw that when he talked to her matrons of honor that were in the suits.
Right.
And they look kind of stern anyway, but he tried his sarcasm. They were like
what? It doesn't work all the time. Some people don't like sarcasm all the time. They want you to be straightforward and be honest. Sarcasm does not work with everybody.
Some people is me. Okay.
I wouldn't say any names.
Some people is me. I can be sarcastic sometimes, but that is not always my choice of approach all the time. So yeah, that does bother me.
You said it, not me.
I did.
Okay.
I ain't ashamed.
Anyway, but I think Brett and Olivia, I think they, even when they got to the honeymoon suite, she asked him for help and he helped her. He got his pajamas. They had a nice conversation. They snuggled. Wanted to know what side of the bed they slept on.
Check that box too.
You gotta check that box. Yeah, they checked that box on the side of the bed they slept on, and they, if it happens, it happened. If it don't, it don't.
Mm-hmm.
They were cool with it either way.
Right.
And so it was not like a rush. And one thing Brett said, yeah, we all slept with somebody. We slept with a stranger before.
Right.
You know, even in his jokes, you don't know if he's serious or not, but he's all slept with, you know, he's a funny guy. And I think it just has to be fine-tuned into the way that she can fine-tune it. I don't know if she's able to do it. Got 8 weeks to figure it out. But we'll see how they go. Brett and Olivia. I'm still on the fence. I mean, Brett, first week was rough. Second week, this week, still...
It's a little bit better.
A little bit better. So
a little bit better.
We get to move on with them and see how they're pan out in the future.
All right. Next up.
Miles and Karen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Miles and Karen. Okay, so they shared their ages.
Mm-hmm.
And at the reception, they're talking, and he said, how do you feel about the age? You know, the age gap. Because she's 30, he's 26.
That's right.
And so she kind of changed her tune. Her thing was she didn't want the age, but she says, well, I look at maturity as a factor more than age. She changed her tune a little bit.
And he knew she was an older woman, the way she came down the aisle, the way she carried herself.
She was grown.
Well, she was grown, the way she handled herself. And guess what? We know Miles has his business together in order. You know, and according to, well, anyway, we get to that in a minute about mom and dad. But, you know, we got to assume Mom's got herself in order. Karen was happy, said she is attracted to him.
Yes, I'm so happy about that.
That she is attracted to him, that she does think he looks good. And that she's willing. You know, you said it when we was watching it. She reminded you of Jephte.
Yes.
How Jephte, when, you know, you go back to the season with Jephte, that...
It was all stranger danger.
It was stranger danger. I don't know you like that. So he really had to open up to his wife and really get in tune to it. So I hope she opens up a little bit quicker than Jephte did.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think Karen and Miles will work out. I think they're going to have some bumps in the road. Especially some of the things that Dad said, that he's the mama's boy. He does call his mom twice a day, and that's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with calling your mom, and I'm not a mama's boy, trust me. I do love my mother, but I'm not a mama's boy. I don't call my mother twice a day.
I know, I said you weren't.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. I love my mother, but
he's absolutely not a mama's boy. Far from it.
But you know, the cleaning issue too, because Dad was like, he doesn't clean up that much, that well. But she's a neat freak, kind of not neat freak, but she keeps things nice and tidy.
Yeah, oh yeah, Dad busted him out. He said he know how to clean, he just don't do it.
Yeah, he know how to clean, he just don't do it.
And it sounds like his mom kind of lets him. She probably still makes his bed.
No, he don't live at home.
I'm saying, she's probably the type that would still make his bed, and so that's what he's used to, you know.
Yeah, and then Dad was like, "Look, you gotta let that go." You know, I like that. Dad was straightforward, like, "No, he can't do that. He married now."
Yeah, right. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah.
yo, he's grown, and he basically, you know, he left his wife, left his mother, and now he's cleaving to his wife, and you know all that. So he's going in to be with her, and now they got to come and stab it. And Dad was like, basically, if you lay down the rules for Miles, then he'll follow those.
Right.
And I think that's what people, when you get into a marriage or in a relationship, if you never set any ground rules or set anything, the person just does what they normally do. Mm-hmm. You have to set ground rules, enter into a relationship, into marriage. Now, not these forceful ground rules, but setting some good standard rules where people can apply and grow to. So, I think Miles and Karen is gonna be all right.
Yeah, and then one thing he did say, which was good, was he said Miles is a protector. He's protective. He's gonna look out for you. So that's what you can depend on for him. Neither one of them are risk takers. Both of their families said this is out of the ordinary for them. So, you know, they're both taking a shot at it. And Karen's mom was like, I just want to know what your intentions are for my daughter.
And he was like,
my intentions, like, I'm in this.
I'm in this.
I want to, because she said that's what Karen's looking for. So he's like, you know, I'm in there for the long haul. I didn't come in this just to be on TV. I didn't come in this just to, you know.
And I think because of that statement there, that they're both in it for the long haul, that regardless of what happens throughout this season, that on decision day, they'll both say, I know you keep craning your fingers crossed, that they'll both say yes, because the way their parents talk about them and how they committed to things, it really has to go real south, in my opinion, for them to not to stay married, because of just based off their the way their upbringing and the culture and what their parents said. And I think they really both, we already know that Karen really trusts her mom.
Right.
And it seemed like Miles really trusts his dad and listens to his parents. So I think these two could work out. And we've been wrong. been wrong before with
Yeah.
Iris and Keith. They came from the same way, but I think with these two they work out. Well, also interesting, they got to the hotel room, they got to the honeymoon suite, and he helped her get on. Well, she didn't even get undressed because she just wanted to lay there, and she looked at Miles and was like, "Do you
rub feet?"
And he's like, "Yo, whatever you want.
Do you want your feet rubbed?
Do you want your feet rubbed?" I'm like, "Checkbox."
And he rubbed her feet.
He rubbed the feet. Checkbox.
She said, "I'm gonna sleep. I think I'm gonna sleep in my dress." I'm like, "Girl, stop."
And she like,
you better put some pajamas
but one
on.
thing she did say that I really caught, she like, I didn't kiss him at the wedding, but I do feel like kissing my husband now.
Yes, she did.
So that attraction is getting there because of the things that he's doing, and she's letting her walls come down, and now she's getting ready to enjoy her Miles being a husband and being pampered, and in that case.
I hope they don't let me down. I'm trying not to get
keep your finger crossed and stay off the internet.
I'm trying. I'm trying not to get too excited, but okay. So speaking of excitement, then we got Woody and Amani. Like these two. Before, at first, remember I said that. First looking at them, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna be. But we got to get to see them. Like they are really sweet.
Yeah, their matchup, the energy that Woody brings, and Amani being kind of down on earth, straightforward, brings them to have a good relationship. And the way that he looks at her, the way that he touches her, the way that he rubs it. Even one point when it was elevated, he kisses her on the shoulder. The way they dance with each other, the way they interact with each other as family, the way they communicate, you can tell that they're both, again, in it for the long haul. And it might be just the first couple of hours, but they're attracted to each other, and they're having the right conversation. And the right conversation is getting to know each other. What do you like? What you dislikes? What we able to maneuver and move to the point where her friends were like, "Yo, do I need to go ahead and go to Amazon and prime you some condoms?" And she's like, "Nah." And if it happens, it happens. Friend was like, "You know what?" Even her friends were like, "Yo, I like Woody."
Yes.
And he was like, "If it happened," he said, "If it happens, it happens. But don't."
Well, her friend said, "I think Woody's the type that." If it doesn't happen, he won't be upset. If it does happen, he won't be upset by that either. So, trying to see with them. But they're really feeling each other. One thing I really liked. So, Woody got a chance to talk to Amani's dads. Her biological father and her stepfather. And they really had a guy bonding time. And I thought that was really good. Like Woody told them, he was like, my dad's not around. I don't have a good relationship with him. So it'll be good for me that, y'all have a good relationship with her and y'all looking out for her, some good guy role models. And if I need somebody to bounce something off, I can come to her. And they were like, yeah, come talk to us. We got tenure in this thing.
And which is, I think, is good because when you have a young male who dad wasn't around, he's married, and no one ever showed him how to be a husband. No one taught him how and not even just said there, hey, this is how you be. Most men learn how to be husbands by what they see. And there's a male present. So Woody really hadn't seen that. And so now he has men to show him and teach him, look, who knows his wife.
Yes.
From a man's perspective, right? And who are married themselves. Okay, this is how you handle her in this way because this is how we raised her. And this is what we taught her. And this is how she is. So he has like a cheat code if he takes advantage of the cheat code.
Yeah.
To make sure that he does right by her and that everything does well with their relationship. Interesting, again, I said it last week, interested to see how things work out with them when they go back to the real world with their jobs. Honeymoon time, they snuggled up. I know a lot of you young ladies were out there excited when Woody took his shirt off. Because my teenage daughter was. She's like, "Oh, Woody."
I said it too. I was like, "Oh, when Amani come out, and she see that, she can be like, oh."
And she had her little. Amani had her little negligee on, the little nightgown, and they snuggled. He was rubbing her eyebrows, and they was real close together.
They were so sweet to me. So, I'm liking them.
So I hope he might have. Well, we'll see. But those two I think will be interesting within this season to see the dynamic of how the honeymoon is. We all know if you watch the show long enough that the wedding night, sometimes they are blow ups, sometimes they're not. But after the honeymoon is what you really see what takes place in real life. And even sometime on the honeymoon, on the trip over to the honeymoon, we'll see some things. But I think This season will be very dynamic. I think some of the stuff that we saw for the preview of the season with the editing, I really don't buy into that because they want to keep you watching for the whole season. So I want to see how it plays out, even to the point where the coronavirus comes in and the pandemic, and now these people have to stay together, which is kind of unheard of in the Married at First Sight scheme of things. Right. So we'll see how that plays out, where you're engaged and you're married, and now you have to spend every waking moment with this person. So it's not like it's just production day, not production day, or whatever the case may be. You really have to interact as a husband and wife together.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It's gonna be very interesting. But all right, before we get out of here, give me your top 5 couples in the order that you think are the best or the least.
The best.
The best. Now let's start from the bottom to the top.
Okay, so from the bottom to the top.
Yep, number 5 being the couple that you're.
Okay, on the bottom right now, I'm putting Christina and Henry.
All right.
All right.
Just because you don't know his name.
Yeah, just because I don't know, she might be too much for him.
Yeah, because she's ready to mingle.
Yeah, but not just that. She just seems like really extra particular. Okay. It's just something maybe nitpicky. I don't know. Maybe I don't. I don't want to diagnose nobody. No. But I was gonna say. But so at the bottom I have Christina and Henry, and then I have. I think I said Brett and Olivia. Just because Brett, I think, is going to be a lot for her to handle. I think she's up for the challenge, but I think he's a lot. Like, he would irritate me. But that's just me. But I feel like me and Olivia might be kind of like in the same vein. But so then Brett and Olivia. And then next I'm going to say Karen and Miles. Because it's almost like they're on the if mama's happy, everybody's happy type of thing. So I think it's going to go the way of Karen. And that might be a lot for
I just hope
Miles.
Well, I don't know. I'm about to say, I hope he doesn't give in to everything. That he has some kind of backbone.
Right. Yeah, I don't... To me, he doesn't look like he doesn't have a backbone. I feel like she might have unrealistic expectations. Like, she might put him through a lot. Yeah. He's going to have to be patient with her, which is what they said. Matter of fact, her mom said something to the effect of what Michael's family said. Yeah. Is if you push her too hard, she's going to shut down. So, he's going to have to crack that clam open. Yeah. And so then next I have Amani and Woody. And to me, they're kind of tied right now with Amelia and Bennett. But I'm going to give them a 2. But Amelia and Bennett, they're at the top of my list because I think the experts did an excellent job. And I know it's some foolishness out there about it. About them, And
we got the same order. Same order with mine. I have to do like Amelia and Bennett. I think they're good, very well put together. I like Woody and Amani. I think they match well. The conversation is good. The energy that they have is good. The black love, if you want to call it that, is tremendous. And even with the point when they were leaving their reception in the party, and they look like they just party all night long. Karen and Miles, I think when they get to know each other even more, they'll be up a little bit higher. She has to get comfortable, and I think him rubbing her feet and having a conversation with her has really settled her down. Her talking to his friends has really settled her. Talking to his parents, has really settled her down and realized, you know what, we're in this for the long haul, and he's not that bad of a guy. So she's past the age thing, which was one of the big issues, past the stalking of his Instagram, which was another issue. And I think as she got to know him and talk to him, everything's moving up. Olivia and Brett, she's really excited. She thinks he's very attractive. He is kind of to himself a little bit still. Needs to open up a little bit more for me, and I think they could survive. But just gotta see how the weeks play out. And then you got Christina and Henry, just for the fact that she don't even know his name, and they couldn't even have conversations.
She's like, no, seriously.
Couldn't have any conversations with each other. That they're at the bottom this week. But nonetheless, if you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. We want to thank each and every one of you for being subscribing to our channel. We appreciate having conversations with you. Please leave a comment in the comment section below. We will talk back. And we'll tell you thank you. We'll have conversation with you. We love dialogue. Make sure you once again hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And Jackie has to say something.
What do I have to say? Again? I said that before. But thank you for the hair compliments. Unfortunately, it probably won't look like this next time we do a review. But thank you.
Hey, that's all we have for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you watch our couples cam review tomorrow.
Bye.
Good night.